Well, hey there, folks. How are you today? Something to be happy about today is Mount Everest and jailhouses, because we like crime rates to be high enough to need a jailhouse. So, how many of you have had this happen? It's either on campus or in your city. You notice that there's an event going on where there's a lot of tables everywhere, and there are people by these tables that stop you and talk to you about why you should vote for this, or against this, or support this thing. A similar situation is in every mall ever, where there are those kiosks in the middle of the aisles or hallways, and the people by the kiosks want to stop you and talk about their facial scrub. What's wrong with my face? I believe for the most part that these people's hearts are in the right place because they're either supporting something they believe in or doing their job. I mean, who can blame them for that? I find them, after a while, kind of obnoxious. I mean, you can be stopped up to 3 times going from one place to another or more by these people who want to say, "Hey, how are you, man? Have you heard about? Have you voted yet? Would you like to buy?" There's nothing wrong with my face. And so I invented a game. And this game is called Dodge 'em, and it sounds like what it sounds like. You try to get past these people without them talking to you. Every table or so that you do get past, you get a point. And the longer point streak you get, the cooler you are. Now, a few rules about this game are, 1, no being barefacedly rude. If they say, "Hey," or "Excuse me," you've already lost because they've talked to you. The whole idea is to try to get under their noses without them noticing you. And the second rule is no taking long winding paths to pointedly avoid all these people, because then you don't get any points. I mean, that beats the whole purpose of it. There is one exception to that rule, but I'll explain that later. And now, here's a few hints and tips on how to win this game. There you are on one side of the hall, and there's that kiosk with that person on it, and the store you really want is on the other side, and you have to get past them without them stopping and talking about your face! It's always the facial scrub people who try to stop me. The easiest way to get past these people is, if they're standing on one side, to just go on the other side. And one tip for all of these is never make eye contact with them. You've already seen them, keep your eyes straight forward, and they're way less likely to talk to you. So you just take the alternate route and you're good. Here's another situation. This is usually with campaigners for something or supporters of something, and what they like to do is set up at intersections like this. Now there's a few ways you can get around these guys. The first thing you want to do is hug the wall to get to your location, because then you're farther away from them and they're less likely to talk to you, and don't make eye contact. Another really easy thing you can do at this point is, if there's a crowd of people who are about to go by, hug to the back and to the opposite side of the table in that crowd, and likely the people who are campaigning are going to grab someone from the crowd, and you're scot-free. A similar variation to this method is, if there's only one person who's, walking on the other side of the street, you're awkwardly not talking to each other, slow down just a bit, stop to tie your shoe or pretend to look at a text, and let him go first, and hopefully he'll take down both of them and you can make it past scot-free. One situation that is almost impenetrable is the surrounded. They have this wide pathway and they have a table on either side. The crowd method doesn't work as well right here because there are 4 guys there. There's a good chance they're gonna get you. And it really won't work with the only one other person there because, oh man, there's 2 tables. That's a lot of it. Redundant talk they're about to try to shove into your brain. This is where the exception is. If you see a route around these people, take it. For the love of Pete, it's alright. I'll give you a point. You're probably not going to make it either way. A few other tips are, 1, you can walk fast, because then they'll think you're going somewhere and they won't want to take too much of your time, or maybe none at all. 2, did I mention don't make eye contact? And the third one isn't as likely to work, but you can always take out your phone and be pretending to read a text, because they don't want to interrupt your texting. They're social guys. They want to be nice because they want your vote or you to buy their facial scrub. It's always the facial scrub. I hate that stuff. It's like everyone's judging me. So, go out with your friends and play Dodge 'em today.
Dodger. Oh, the candidate's a Dodger, yes, and I'm a Dodger too.